Now, Red Bull finally sacked Sergio Perez, and they have announced after a lot of deliberation that Liam Lawson will replace him. Now, this has become a controversial decision because I don't know why. Honestly, Liam Lawson is a driver backed by Red Bull. They know his talent, proven his mettle in multiple categories. He's done well in F2, he's done well in Super Formula, he's done well in DTM, and then he's done 11 races in F1 to give a decent enough audition of what his ability can be. Surely Tsunoda deserved it. You definitely got a feel for Yuki Tsunoda. Like he was the man who's been doing the best job at Toro Rosso or RB or Alpha Tauri Racing Bulls, whatever you call it, the Faenza based team. Tsunoda has been doing that job. He's done well. He's beaten Ricardo. He's beaten De Vries. He got the better of Lawson in qualifying as well in the 6 races they raced together. But again, Red Bull wasn't considering him seriously. I don't understand the hate towards Lawson. I mean, like, social media has got a tendency to overreact to everything and just villainize the other person if someone misses out on something. And Lawson is definitely being villainized. Now, Sunoda's perspective, 4 seasons in F1, 80 odd starts, he scored points, he's done superbly well. Absolutely, he deserved it. They should have ideally given him the chance 1 season at Red Bull, besides Verstappen. If he can't take the pressure, they replace him for 26. Lawson, meanwhile, could have raced at RB, but they weren't considering him. They had that notion about him being immature, his tendency to get angry. There are several of those things. His behavior, his demeanor, and I'm not suggesting that that's something that would have absolutely denied him the seat. Even Red Bull aren't being clear on it. But yeah, from Lawson's perspective, he deserves that seat justifiedly. He had been sitting on the bench for 2 seasons after graduating from F2. Last year, he got those 5 races luckily because of Ricardo's injury. And then this year, obviously, they replaced Ricardo and he got those 6 races to prove himself. But if not for that, Red Bull were just going to lose Lawson. He had a contract and he could have gone elsewhere. That's a different thing that he did not have anywhere else to go. He deserved a seat this season itself when Ricardo got the contract for 24 and he was clearly struggling. Ricardo is definitely past it. He was past it. But he still made a comeback. They had that trust on him that he could potentially make a comeback to Red Bull, replacing Perez. Ideally, 2024 should have been Lawson and Tsunoda at RB. And now that Ricardo has failed, people are still trying to justify him that he was good enough, and Lawson has become the villain. So I don't understand that despite being a good talent and despite deserving that seat and sitting on the sidelines for 2 years, he's the one who's catching all the shrapnel. Many are saying that he could fail like Albon and Gasly. And yeah, that could very well be the case, fair enough. But the tendency to pass judgment even before he is raced for Red Bull, I mean, social media really needs to dial down its expert opinion. Every time they'll do the same thing. They'll just call it before things happen, and at times it backfires in their face. And from Lawson's perspective, again, I said he had been rotting on the sidelines for 2 seasons. And similar to Lawson, there have been many drivers who haven't got a seat in F1. Theo Pocher, Felipe Dragovic, these have been F2 champions and they are without a seat. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda at least had a seat for 4 seasons. 4 consecutive years he's raced in F1, and surely he deserved the promotion. He deserved that promotion to Red Bull, no denying that. But that doesn't mean the likes of Lawson, Pocher, and Dragovic don't deserve a seat. Lawson has somehow earned it, but Dragovic and Pocher, who have won F2, are out on the sidelines and they have to now go to other racing categories. And then you have this year's F2 champion, Gabriel Bortoleto, who's going to make his debut next year. Sure, he's won it in his rookie season. Pocher and Dragovic are decent talents. They are very good racing drivers. They've shown the pace, they've shown the potential to belong at the pinnacle of motorsport. Like, I don't understand one thing that the likes of Dragovic and Pocher haven't got seats and Lance Stroll has a seat. who's been performing rather badly. Frederick Vesti is another name. Runner up to Porsche last year. He also deserves a shot. So Sunoda, on one hand, sure he should feel bad that he did not get that Red Bull promotion. He deserved it. But on the other hand, he can also be grateful that he's raced in F1 for 4 years. While champions like Dragovic, Porsche, runner-ups like Frederick Vesti, Callum Ilott, he was making a lot of noise in 2020, finishing second to Mick Schumacher. Robert Schwartzman as well. He's a solid talent. But now those guys have to drive an Indy car, which is not a bad gig. But they have to give up on the F1 dream. And then there have been drivers like Logan Sargent, Nikita Mazepin, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, who have raced in F1 probably more than they deserve. They have been so crash prone, haven't done anything special as such. And then these drivers I mentioned, Schwartzman, Ilott, Dragovic, Pocher, they haven't even got a single chance. But that's how cutthroat the world of F1 has been. And Lawson has somehow escaped that matrix. Like, mind you, he doesn't have any major backing. Tsunoda has got a big backing from Honda. And Lawson has got sponsors as well, but they aren't as big as Honda. His parents literally sold their house to fund his racing. He comes from Hastings in New Zealand, which is a very small city. Like, people don't even consider New Zealand often. It's an afterthought of a country, and he's come a long way from there. Like, he only started getting sponsors in recent years after he started getting the spotlight in junior formulas. Like Rodin, Giltrap, Turner, Sporter. These aren't big sponsor names. But yeah, sure, he'll be villainized for replacing the likes of Perez and Ricardo, who have been basically fan favorites. But they have struggled a lot, and that's something people have just ignored. Not so much for Perez. Yes, there has been a lot of scrutiny and criticism against him, but Ricardo people feel that he was damn good, and he clearly wasn't in the last 4 years. He knew that. I know people may feel that Lawson may struggle, but if he does well, that would be one of the most celebrated stories in F1 history. So it would be a hugely proud moment for New Zealand motorsport, to see Liam Lawson doing well in F1.